Hey guys, what's going on? It's DC, and welcome to the Soap Sanctuary. All soap lovers are welcome, guys. I'm probably gonna have nobody on today's live because I had announced this like what 35 minutes ago that I was going live today, guys. I'm still trying to upload my Days Are Lives General Hospital video, so that's gonna take some time out today, guys. But thank you guys for just rocking with me, being patient with me, guys. With school, I've been super busy, so there's just been a lot going on, but I'm back and I'm here today, guys. Today's topic for tonight's live is soap opera patriarchs and matriarchs. So one of the things that made me think a lot about that topic was watching Megan Hathaway this week on Days. I can hear you. Okay, you can hear me? Okay, perfect. I want you. As long as you can hear me, that's good. So I was thinking about that earlier this week because of Megan coming back on Days, how now the Damaris finally have a patriarch, which I do go further in that my Days review that I'm gonna it's trying to upload my phone. It's trying to upload, guys. Okay, Solomon's on. Solomon says, good evening, DC, and everyone that's going to be with us tonight, right? Solomon, it just might be you two tonight. I'm gonna be on till 8 for tonight. I haven't done live in so long, man. I'm trying to be consistent, guys. I'm trying to be. But this week's topic, like I said, is matriarchs and patriarchs. And like I said, watching Megan Hathaway on Days this past week really made me reflect on that. How the Damaris have not had a good patriarch in or matriarchal figure, either or figure, lead a lead of their family in such a long time. And now they finally have that. Because it's kind of like on GH with how with GH, the Quartermains don't really have that either. Ned is not really, he's not head of the family material to me. He kind of was, but he just, there's something about someone that's had the family. They just have this thing that they just exude. They don't have to even talk about it. They just exude that. And Megan's got that. Kristen couldn't be that, like I said, because she's too crazy. EJ is just way too callous. Tony's too soft. Chad is too pious, and Stefan is just too new. So it wasn't gonna work. Okay, so Solomon just asked me, has Weinar ever had a matriarch? Catherine. I feel like Catherine was a matriarch figure, not even just for the chancellors, but look, everyone in Genoa City. Like it's kind of like on GH how Laura is kind of like the matriarch, almost like for the whole town in a way. I feel like that's kind of what Catherine was on YNR, if I had to give that. Catherine was definitely that. And Stephanie too on B&B. Stephanie was that matriarch for everybody that was there. She definitely was. But Catherine was that matriarch figure on YNR for sure. Like literally just for everybody. Meek is in the chat. What's going on, Meek? How art thou? Man, guys, it feels good. It feels good to be back. In the words of Stefano Demira, it feels good to be back, eh? I guess I have my 2 reviews that are uploading, guys. I'm excited to do that. My GH, my Days review. Couldn't do Wine R&B because it's a lot going on, a lot of studying this week I had to do. But I have those 2 uploaded, so I can't wait for you guys to be able to see that. But yeah, Weiner has had that matriarch, Catherine Chancellor, but ever since she's gone, it hasn't hit the same. Nikki doesn't have the convictions of a matriarch. She's more of like a Stepford wife, but Nikki doesn't have the convictions of a matriarch. Like, Olivia Quartermain is definitely not the matriarch for the whole show on GH, but she is definitely the new matriarch for the Quartermains. I mean, they're literally calling her Mama Q. Like, you see the writers are trying to build on something here. And then this whole annual Quartermain picnic dinner. Come on, guys. That's legit the Bauer family barbecue on Guiding Light. For my Guiding Light people, tell me y'all didn't see that when the Quartermains had their annual Quartermain picnic. Come on. That was a Bauer family barbecue, guys. That was a Bauer family barbecue right then and there. Okay, so Solomon says, DC, I guess you could say that, but that wasn't until like the last 10 to 15 years of her character. In the late 70s, late 80s, Catherine was characterized as self-loathing, miserable, drunk. Yes, she was Solomon. But the good thing about matriarchs, patriarchs, they usually have to develop into that role. It takes time. It takes time. Even Maureen Bauer, she wasn't that instantly on Guiding Light. It took time for her to get there. Olivia Quartermain, now being the Matriarchs for the Quartermains, she wasn't always like that either. She had to develop into that. So, and that was a good thing about Catherine, because she had that, she wasn't like a one-dimensional character. She went from this rich bee, right, who had all the money in the world, had it all, but then she was able to really transform her character, and she became that matriarchal figure for almost everyone in town. She became the voice of reason for Victor, even for Victor, you know. All right. Kaiwan says, where can you watch Guideline YouTube? So there's a couple of YouTube channels that have Guideline. I'm still on Guideline 2004 right now from this channel. I don't recall their name exactly at the moment, but that's the channel that I watch. All episodes of Guideline. But if you just YouTube it, you're gonna find some stuff. You won't find maybe exactly piece by piece or in order, but you'll find some stuff on there, Kaiwan. My tea tastes like coffee. There's some coffee in the Okay. And I think that there was Another World. Another World also has reruns as well on YouTube. I'm on 1999 of Another World, and I'm also on 1981 of Another World. And I absolutely love it. I love watching it, and I love watching the slow burners, the slow burn storylines on soaps. Soaps are just so different back then. Oh my god, it was so like, I think one shocking twist on As the World Turns was the character of Blaine. She had a night job and she didn't tell her husband. She worked at a casino, and that was like a shocking thing for that time, which for us that wouldn't even cut it, right? Shock values are different now. Okay, Solomon says, I didn't mind Catherine turning into a matriarch, but I found her and Jill being loving mama and daughter ludicrous and an insult to the viewers. You know, Solomon, that whole thing with Jill and Catherine, the rewrite was done so many times. It got to a point as viewers, we couldn't take it seriously no more, right? We couldn't take it seriously anymore. It was good when they first did it, but then it was just like, she wasn't Jill's daughter. Then she was. I'm sorry, she was Jill's mom. Then she wasn't. Then she was. Then she wasn't. Then she was. And then in the end, Jill turned out to be Lauren's sister through Neil Fenmore. And at that point, I don't think anybody even cared. At that point at all. Let me see here. I'm trying to read Kaiwan's comment. Let's come back on YouTube tonight, 8 o'clock. Who's ringing the theme? Who's that? And then Kaiwan also says, it was only in the 70s that women were allowed to pay the rent checks. That's a possibility. That's a possibility, since they had more of a patriarchal societal views back then in the 70s, even though there was a revolution of the 60s that were right before it. Okay, Meek says, DC, I see you spoke into existence Diane marrying Jack Abbott. Jack Abbott, matriarch in the making. Yes, I told you, Meek. I told you. Diane can fit the bill. Diane has the convictions to be a matriarch. She just has that thing. Phyllis doesn't have that. Sharon will have that years down the line, right? To be the next second generation Newman matriarch. But in terms of Diane, Diane has that. Diane is Jack's style. You can see that. She is his style. You know what I'm saying? When you look at Diane, you see that she has maturity that Phyllis does not have. So, and with Jack and Phyllis, there's a clear age difference there, right? But because they're older and they're adults, it's not really as prevalent where you can see it, right? So if someone's 50 and someone's 70, there's an age difference, but we don't see it as much, right? And that's kind of what's going on with Jack and Phyllis, right? But there's that clear gap. But Diane is his style. She just gets Jack to the core. You know what I mean? Okay, Eyes Only says, I couldn't take Jill being Lauren's sister. I couldn't take it either, Eyes Only. I couldn't take it either. Because you know what the thing is like, it was just so lackluster. It was such a lackluster thing that they did. I mean, even when Lauren had her whole episode, why wasn't Jill there? Jill was her sister. Go figure. Maybe she was. I know I missed the last 10 minutes of the episode, so maybe she was. I don't know, but I didn't see it. All right, let me zoom real quick. Solomon says, DC, those two gals, Catherine and Jill, got so close out of nowhere that I thought they were going to have sex. Okay. Okay. No, I didn't know it was like that back in YNR, because I saw a little bit how they developed that story, but not really. So when because I know that Jill was Catherine's manicurist, and then she slept with Catherine's husband, had a baby with Catherine's husband, Phil Chancellor III, I think it was. I didn't know they did it out of nowhere at that time. I didn't know that. Okay. Kaiwan says, Sabrina Faith has come back on YouTube tonight at 8 o'clock. All right, Sabrina Faith. All right. She doesn't know who I am, but Sabrina Faith. I follow her channel. I'm really proud of her. I'm really happy for her to come back. I'm really happy to come back. I'm really happy for her. Because I understand what it's like. She's really busy. She's got stuff going on. So I understand that's why she has been on for a while. I think Albert's going on tonight too. So where will I be? I'm going to be at Bossy Enterprises. I'll probably catch both simultaneously. I'm uploading my General Hospital and Days of Our Lives review. All right. Kaiwan says, let's see. Send Diane hate turn for what happened back in the 80s when his original actor, Phyllis. Let me see here. Solomon says, at eyes only, especially when the original Jill shared Tina Lauren's mother. And Jill had no idea that lady was her stepmother. The thing is that Jill being Neil Fenmore's daughter just doesn't work age range wise. It just no, it didn't work. It didn't work. They should have really kept her as Catherine's daughter. I don't think they need to undo that. All right, Amaya Baker. Hey, Amaya, I don't think I've ever seen you before in the chat. Amaya Baker says Diane Jack should have happened when they got engaged in 1996. We deserve this. We do. We do deserve Diane and Jack together. That woman is a style. You can't. There's no other woman on YNR that fits the bill because I've been honestly talking about this for the longest time. Like Jack does not have the love of his life, and Phyllis is just not that. You know, Jack and guys like Rafe on Days, they just don't have a woman that's like assigned for their destiny. You know, every soap writer, it's almost like they write another character for that person's destiny, and they do rewrites as down the line as they happen. But Jack never had that. But I realized he did. It was Diane. That was why. All right, Eyes Only says, when I first started watching YNR, I thought Sharon was Nikki's daughter. Really? That's kind of awkward, right? You see, Amaya just comments, is like, how is Sharon going to be her daughter? That's what I'm saying, too. How is Sharon going to be her daughter? That means Sharon would have a child with her brother, right? 2 kids with her brother. It's kind of awkward, right? Kind of awkward family reunion. It's giving flowers in the attic. All right, so let me see here. Oh, and to comment on that, I actually thought that Nikki was going to be Catherine's daughter for the longest time because those two were getting really awfully close. Like, okay, they're going to be mother and daughter, but Catherine was just a mother figure for Nikki at the time. All right, Solomon says Phyllis should be about 55 years old, and Jack is near 70 now, I think. Exactly. Solomon, I didn't even need to know that literally to know that was probably the age range. Lucy and Jack and Phyllis. All right, Steven says, I so miss Victor on Days, but happy that Maggie was made CEO. Steven, I am too. Listen, it's going to be on my Days review. That was one of the best twists they could have given us on Days. Because if not, because Maggie was becoming like almost like a Nikki Newman part 2, where she was like Victor's, you know how Nikki is Victor's shadow on YNR? That's literally she's Victor's shadow. It's yes and amen for Victor, right? And Maggie was kind of sort of becoming that on Days, but not as much. But I'm glad they gave her something new to do. And now she is risen to the helm as matriarch of Titan Industries. All right, Maya says it works though because John and Neil went to high school together, and Jack and Jill are the same age. Did they then? Okay. I guess it was possible then. Stephen Ambrose said Alex needed to be put in his place. He really did. When she said you're fired, I was like, I thought Maggie was really coming out with this cutthroatness, but she will. It's going to come out over time, but she will. Solomon says, DC, I agree with Neil being Jill's daddy making no sense, but if they was going to stick with it, they could have at least made Liz cheat on Jill's daddy with Neil and keep it from Jill. So that's the thing. Who was Jill's mother? That's what I'm saying. When they rewrite storylines so many times, they have to be careful because then it gets to the point we don't care anymore. We don't even care anymore. All right, Kaiwan says General Hospital has any matriarch because most of the stuff in the hospital are the original ones from the 70s. Doesn't have any matriarchs. Okay, I see what you're saying. Like it doesn't have any matriarchs because most of the matriarchs are from the 70s that are no longer on. Is that what you're trying to say? I think. All right, Meek says to hear Phyllis say that she wants Diane dead, she's spinning out of control. See, this is the thing with Phyllis. She's always been a hot mess. And she's desperately needing somebody's love. Maybe Phyllis's dad needs to come to town. Have they explored that storyline? You know what I mean? What's going on there? You know, have they explored that yet? All right, Solomon says, DC, according to Wikipedia, Diane is 64 years old. Wow. You know, I guess I can see that because she has the gray hair thing going on. But honestly, I feel like she has a body of like a 50-year-old. So she's doing her thing. Hold on. Ooh, you guys going fast from. Let's see here. Kaiwan says Scotty Baldwin is the son of somebody that he was around the 70s, but that doesn't have anybody family that is. Okay, I see what you're saying now. Amaya says Catherine, Dina, John, Lauren's parents, and Brooks all went to high school together, apparently. Now, Amaya, was that a history rewrite? that they all went to school together? Like when it was revealed that Neil was Jill's father, or has it always been that way on YNR? Like has it always been like the running concept or idea of the chronological sequence of time with all the characters? Okay. Let's see here. Stephen Ambrose. I'm ranked 2 weeks behind, but I love how Mercedes handling John Paul the Oaks. Okay, when it comes to Hollyoaks, Stephen, I am so behind on Hollyoaks. It is so not funny how behind I am on Hollyoaks. Speaking of which, I thought of you, Stephen, the other day because I was watching Bold and Beautiful. Doesn't Taylor look like Mercedes McQueen? Don't they look alike? You got to tell me that because I was looking at it, I was like, she looks exactly like Mercedes McQueen. Like, unless I'm tripping out here. You got to tell me. All right, Amai says, I had no idea if it was a rewrite because I wasn't watching back then. I just read shows history pages. Honestly, Amaya, listen, I wasn't watching back then either, but I'm a huge soap buff, so I'm always watching past episodes and shows. I didn't have no life back then. I was watching past episodes of YNR. So that's why I was wondering if that was like the thing. So like on days, Chloe, Philip, Sean, and Belle all went to high school together, the Salem High Blast crew, whatever. And so that's always their thing. They all went to high school together. So that's kind of how we can identify some of the chronological events in Salem. That makes sense. Okay, Kaiwan says, yeah, I think that was supposed to be right. She's part of that family in original 5. Okay. Kaiwan says, I like Hollyoaks, but it was a little boring for me. Okay, I had caught up with Hollyoaks from the week of February 1st and 2nd on Hulu, but then I tried to watch it through a third-party site or on all 4. Those weeks I watched, those 2 weeks were a little dry compared to like when I started, but every soap has its dry weeks. So I gotta keep that in mind. Solomon Payne says, I can't get into British soaps at all. They're like a poor man's all white Tyler Perry's House of Pain. Solomon, listen, I kind of agree with you a little bit because in 2009 to 2011, I started watching EastEnders on the weekends when they had it on PBS. But the thing about it is I couldn't get into it. But years later, I can. So I probably caught them during a dry spell. You know what I mean? I caught it. Hollyoaks, I caught it at the right time. Some soaps, you just got to catch it at the right time to get into it. Like As the World Turns was tough for me to get into. That was a one soap out of all the 9, the Divine 9, not the Divine 9 for Terry's stories, for Terry, the Divine 9 of the last 9 remaining soaps, the last Mohicans. As the World Turns was the toughest for me to get into. It was the toughest. Guiding Light was good till they did that little weird PPAC YouTube look. After that, I was out. You know how in the Shark Tank, like, and for that reason, I'm out. For that reason, I was out. Stephen Ambrose says Mercedes McQueen is the second coming of Kate on Days of Our Lives. I can actually see the comparisons, and they do kind of look slightly alike. If she was like a younger version of Kate, I can kind of see that a little bit. All right, Maya says, hold on. Maya says, let me scroll up here. I'm watching past episodes too. Gina and Catherine were definitely besties in the 80s, so it seems true. Philip Chancellor also went to high school with them. Speaking of which, Amaya, were you watching YNR when Philip came back from the dead and they said the reason why he stayed dead because he was gay? Didn't that felt like the worst rewrite they could have ever done on YNR? What's your thoughts on that? What was your thoughts on that? All right. My Baker says, All My Children, As the World Turns, All My Children were the hardest for me. Okay. I could agree with you on As the World Turns. As the World Turns were hard for me to get into. It was really rough at times. I don't know what it was. All My Children was easy, and then I kind of fell off. But that was like one of the first few soaps I started watching. Let me see here. Stephen Ambrose, my heart breaks every time I see John Paul. Okay, Stephen, don't ruin it for me. I haven't seen Hollyoaks just yet. Don't ruin it for me. Don't do that to me. Okay, what happened with John Paul? You can kind of tell me. Don't give away too much, though. Don't give away too much. Solomon says, DC, did you know that Ashley and Tucker are godbrother and sister? Yes, I did know that, Solomon, because Catherine is her godmother. I think it was through Dina, like through, as Amaya said, because Dina and Catherine were besties back in high school. So yes, I am aware of that. Yes, I am. Amai says preferred guiding light when lights live. All right, Amai. All right, you're my type of person. I see you. There was a time I used to switch up my soap lineup where at one point I was watching All My Children when I had to live in General Hospital. Then we got cable. I didn't know how to act. And the other half of the cable where you can see the rest of the local channels back then. You know, we had an antenna back then. And I started watching Young and the Restless, Bold and Beautiful, and then I would go to One Life to Live and General Hospital. And at times I would just do One Life to Live in General Hospital. I used to switch up all the soaps I would watch at the time. Like I literally had one VCR in my room recording All My Children through General Hospital, the VCR in my mom's room recording Young and the Restless through Guiding Light, and then my brother's room, my brother I had my brother's room at the time, his VCR recording Desert Lives and Passions, and I watched all 9. I watched half of the soaps throughout the week, and the other half on the weekends. Yeah, I was an interesting 12-year-old. I was an interesting 12-year-old. All right. Let me see here. DC says Philip secretly liking giving men his Sunny D was the worst. Yeah, that was the worst history rewrite. I mean, I wonder, how did Thom Beards, the guy who plays Philip Chancellor, how did he feel about that rewrite? Because Philip's death sparked so much storyline between Catherine and Jill, and then to rewrite it and that be the reason. So you left Nina, right, to raise Chance on her own because of that? Not a good rewrite. All right. Amaya says, I was watching when Philip became gay. It was such a bad rewrite because they set it up wrong with Kane. Yeah, when Kane came in, that was a terrible, because they had him as the original Philip. And like I said, that was another one they rewrote so many. Well, they didn't rewrite so many times, but them rewriting the legacy of Philip Chancellor was also another bad thing that they did. They shouldn't have done. Because they had a whole DNA test and everything, so they never should have done that. All right. Hold on a second here, guys. Stephen Ambrose says John Paul goes rock bottom. That is all. Okay, all right. Solomon says I would never screw my god sister and later marry her. Like, what the hell? You know the thing is though, but it depends. Did you grow up with them? If you didn't, I mean, because think about it. Most people in soaps have married their step siblings, but they never grew up with them. Because that's the thing with Hope on The Bold and the Beautiful is weird to me. She grew up with Thomas and Steffi. They mentioned that in dialogue so many times at the show. At one point in time, Steffi said, "You know, Hope, I really want us to be sisters." So that is a little weird to me now that he's pining after Hope. All right, let me see here. What else? Sorry, guys. I'm just scrolling through here. Maya says, I'm mainly a CBS girl for sure. Okay. But I watched the Divine Nine so for sure, all networks. I was an ABC guy. I started on ABC. And ABC was definitely the faster paced soaps, with All My Children being the slowest, being their slow burner. And so even I want to say on NBC, Another World was their slow burner. I can't even say Passions was a slow burner. I just can't. I don't even feel right saying that. And then we know obviously on CBS, Young the Restless was a slow burner. Solomon says, I would never screw my god sister and later marry her. Maybe it's just me, but what the hell? Okay. And Steven says, I madly love Mercedes McQueen. I love my English sisters. So Steven, do you watch EastEnders? I've been so behind on EastEnders. I've been so behind on what's going on with Ben Mitchell, Phil's son. I'm not gonna lie though. I gotta know and Steven, don't get mad at me for this, but like the reason why Ben and his husband broke up, because technically Ben cheated, but you know, Ben was technically like assaulted. It was really tough for me to feel sorry for him. Okay, I'm not even gonna go there. It was tough though, because like he did go to cheat on his husband. Like that was his original intent. I don't know. Anyways, let me move on. All right, Joshua Cook says hi, DC Substation. Hey Joshua, what's going on? Let me see here. Amaya says Thom Beards is gay in real life, so I think that's why they did that for Phil. Yeah, they did, but it just wasn't a good reason. I just didn't like that being the reason why he was a deadbeat dad. Like, it just, come on now. Y'all had to do that out of everything? Like, come on. All right. Solomon said, actually, the actor who played Philip said he wasn't reprising the character if they didn't make him gay. Oh. Okay, so then they had to do it then. But still, that was a bad rewrite. All right, Amaya says here, I was more of a Nina and Ryan person anyway. Okay, all right, Amaya, okay. Tucker and Ashley didn't grow up together, so it doesn't matter. Yeah, that's how I feel too, Amaya. They didn't grow up together. Like, what? Tucker barely knows Catherine as his mother anyways. Like, you know what I mean? Solomon says, my god sister is laid to me, so maybe that's why I find awkward. Okay, I can see that, Solomon. But considering the fact that Tucker and Ashley didn't grow up together, they didn't. There was a time in YNR where Devon had an attraction to Lily. Did we forget that storyline? They were trying to develop it out, and then the writers quickly dropped it. It was hella awkward though. That storyline was hella awkward. I'm not even gonna lie to you guys. That was hella awkward. Joshua Cook says, my mom watches GH while I watch YNR. Damn, Joshua. Damn, Josh. House divided right there. House divided. ABC daytime, CBS daytime. How do y'all do it? It's got to be tough. Know that your mom is a CBS daytime watcher and you're an ABC daytime watcher. How does that feel? It's got to be tough, man. It's got to be tough. My whole household is ABC daytime. All my family was ABC daytime. Meek says, is Victoria about to show Nate how cutthroat she really is? Victoria was all like, seducing Nate, and at the end she's like, this is why I hired you. You need to go after the business. It's like, and see, this is what Nate is about to find out. Victoria does not care about nobody but herself. She does not care. She wants you. She doesn't care that's going to mess up your relationship with your family. She does not care about nobody but her damn self. All right, Steven says, I'm very loyal to Hollyoaks. Mercedes is mad mixed between Erica Kane and Kate Roberts. I see Kate Roberts, but how do you see Erica Kane? Explain that dynamic to me, though. Because I see the Todd and Blair thing with Sienna and holy crap, his name is escaping me. Oh my God, his name is escaping me. The one who's Norma's son. How is his name escaping me? Okay, well, you know what I'm talking about. All right, Josh says, I saw some episodes of Easterners on BBC America when the channel first started in 1999, 2000. I thought it was a good show. I haven't seen Easterners in a long time. Yeah, I kind of saw a glimpse of it then too, and then again in 2009, 11, and now more so now. Monique says, thank God Sam isn't pregnant with Dante. Too close to be incestuous. Yeah, the thing is, I didn't get why Christina had to feel the need to announce that. Like, sis, like, you are so childish. Like, she's back and she had to announce that in front of everybody. Like, it's none of your business. All right. Solomon says, DC, did you like when Billy and Phyllis looked up YNR? I found it totally insulting. Billy Miller's Billy and Michelle Stafford's Phyllis would never, ever want each other. Totally ridiculous. Yeah, they wouldn't have. They wouldn't have. It was a weird pairing. I didn't like it either. And I just kind of excused it because it was a different actress. I love Gina Tognoni, but her as Phyllis just, it worked, but it didn't work at the same time, if that makes sense. Because if you notice, when they recast a character and they have them do things that's so out the box, when the original or a new recast comes in, they act like what that character did when the last person was in the role, it's like it didn't happen. They don't even mention that anymore, YNR. All right, Josh says, DC Self-Sanctuary, I know, right? I'm not mad at her, but it's tough. Dang, house divided, Josh. ABC daytime, CBS daytime. Dang. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. All right. Amai says, Victoria is bordering on sexual harassment. Yes, she is. But she's a woman, so I don't think they're going to pursue that angle. But they could. Maybe if what Nate could do is maybe when Victoria's close to firing him, he could blackmail her to keep his job in Newman. Yeah, that's what he could do. All right. Eyes Only says, Victoria Newman is a weird character. There wasn't a man like Victor, so she had to steal one. Okay. All right. Kaiwan says, I think the show Succession is in a while and in. Oh, in the show section of YNR, the same show. Okay. I think I understand what we're saying. I think I get it. Solomon says, maybe it's just me, but Mila Heine has been giving me slight Heather Tom, Victoria vibes lately. She's not afraid of nothing, it seems. Yes, she has been reminding me of the original Victoria. Because when Amelia Heine came into the role, her Victoria is more vulnerable, actually. And I get it. It's with growth in time because she was the wife of Brad Carlton, who was lying all the time. Then the battered wife of JT. And now she's just like, I'm that B. That's what Victoria is now, right? All right. Stephen Ambrose says, Mercedes is very fashionable like Erica Kane. She's all over the top like Erica. She goes to extreme like Erica did. I love Mercedes. She can't do any wrong. Is it not? It's not Mercedes, is it? Yes, it is Mercedes. That is Bobby's mother, I believe. And I love how she's ride or die for her son, even though he's really evil. I love how she's ride or die for him. Monique says, oh, Monique, this is the same Monique from Albert. Hey, Monique, what's going on, Monique? Xander and Adam are two characters I feel shouldn't try to change because when they do, people think the worst of them, and when they don't react, it's questionable. And see, that's the thing. Chelsea accepted Adam for as he is, and Gwen accepts Xander as he is. And I talk about this in my Days review. I kind of feel like maybe it's not good then that Xander would be with Gwen because he's not going to change. It's good to be with someone who accepts you as you are, but if they're not prompting you to change and be better, then is that the right person for you? Right? Because some people in relationships, they're like, oh, I accept you as you are. You're perfect. And that sounds great when you think about it, but sometimes it might not be, because maybe they don't want you to change, because if you have to change, they have to change, right? If you level up, they have to level up, right? And sometimes they're not ready for that. Or they might have the capacity to do that right now. So they want you to stay where you at. All right, Solomon says, it wasn't Gina as Phyllis that was the problem. It was terrible writing, since when would Michelle Stavros Phyllis go on a date with her best friend's son? She's slutty, but damn. You know, the thing is, Solomon, is that when a recast comes in, they have to kind of be the embodiment of what that character is, but they also have to bring their own stuff to the role as well. That's also another thing. They got to bring their own stuff to the role. And so maybe they were trying to write for Phyllis in a different way. It's kind of like when Karen, I forgot her name, stepped in as Tina Lord of One Life to Live in the 90s, which to me, I was like, bruh. Like, this woman is not Tina at all. Like, what? Like, it was like a whole new character, and not in a good way. She didn't embody anything in the last Tina, and that's nothing to her, but it was just not there at all. And that was yeah. Okay. Monique says, didn't Mia play on All My Children before she came to YNR? Yeah, she played the role of Nia on All My Children, I think it was. She was one of the fusion girls. All right, Solomon says, Emil Heine's Victoria was ruined the moment they put Victoria with JT, a man 10 years younger than her. From then on, she became a raw and ice queen, a sweet heroine rolled into one. Is she really a heroine at this point? I didn't even know that JT was 10 years younger than her. I didn't even know that part. But I did like her with JT. I always figured JT was going to be the love of her life. But I did like her with JT. I really did. Let me see here, guys. Hold on a second. Let me see. I'm seeing something on my computer. All right. Steven says here, Mercedes need to be more supportive of John Paul. That is all without releasing too much info. I love Goldie, but she can be too preaching over there. Yeah, Goldie got on my nerves. When Goldie was like, I think it was when they realized that Bobby was working in cahoots with Silas. I think it was a month or two back. Goldie was like, oh, fry him to the fire. I'm like, sis, I get your point of view, but like, that's still Mercedes' son, and he's still a child. You know what I'm saying? And I don't get the sense that Goldie was there for Prince. I don't get that kind of feeling. So maybe that's why she can't relate. But you can correct me on that, Steve, if I'm wrong. Meek says Amanda is going to drag Devon in court. I hope he gets to see his play on screen. Lily ain't playing with him. I hope Amanda could come back for that. And see, here's the thing. When Lily was sitting there in society and she said that it didn't have to get to this point with Devon, he was like, really? You're going to take him to court? Really? Really? You're bringing Amanda in this? And it's like, yo, like, you're the reason why Lily's doing this. Lily doesn't have anything else to hold on to right now. You got Tucker McCall money. She doesn't have that. She doesn't have McCall limited money. Lily doesn't have that. And Devon, for whatever reason, just could not understand that. He could not grasp that. All right, Monique says, I remember Victoria and Ryan up there, and Nina slapped the shit out of her. You know, the thing is, do you feel like it's, Monique, do you still feel the impact of that storyline, even though now that Victoria is played by a whole different actress than she was back then by Heather Tom? All right, and Solomon says here, from about 2006 2017, Victoria was written as this well-meaning little girl who felt bad for anything she did, and it didn't work because it was out of character, and she also played as a shrew too. Okay, so she was playing at those things simultaneously at the same time then, you're saying. All right, Steven says, I am... Okay, I love Days, but the Oaks is my priority. I feel you on that. I feel you on that. The one soap that I do watch every day is Scheme Song, which is a South African soap. That's my priority soap that I watch because, one, if I don't watch it quickly, YouTube pulls it. That's the only way I can watch it now these days. So I can't get South African broadcasting over here in the States. So I understand that. And plus, Scheme Song does have more realistic but soapy storytelling and both at the same time simultaneously, which isn't, I think, easy for most shows to do this day and age. All right, Amaya says, I still feel the impact in which they could bring back Cole for her. Yeah, I heard about Victoria's first love, Cole. I remember, I've heard about that. I'm not too familiar with that at all. I do remember that, weren't they going to try to pair her with Neil at one point, and that didn't happen? I think it was. Okay, Steven said, okay, Steve, I got you. He said, I'm so in the tank for Hollyoaks. I love Days of the Oaks is my priority. The thing is, Steven, Hollyoaks reminds me of One Life to Live. It actually has a diverse set of characters. People are represented. Storylines are written well. I do feel bad for Mason though. I feel so bad for him. I know what he did was wrong, but like I feel bad for Mason. He's just a child. And I feel like even though he was like a predator, his character should still have the chance to be redeemed. You know? So I feel for the Chen Williams clan. I feel for them. I really do. The Williams Chen clan, I feel for them. So I feel like Mason deserves a second chance on Hollyoaks. This is how I feel about that. All right, let me keep going through his comments, guys. Got a few more minutes left. Stephen Ambrose says Hollyoaks shove so much 20 minutes. They do. And see, that's how you do half-hour soaps. B&B could take notes. All right, Eyes Only says, I thought JT was the one for Victoria myself, and I laughed when JT knocked Victor Nguyen down the stairs and he sailed through the air. Oh, I remember that. It was like, and a little 3D thing. Yeah. I thought so too. I thought he was going to be the love of Victoria's life, but I guess they rewrote it to Billy now. Monique says, she never mentions Reed anymore. Do you notice that she never mentions that boy? All right, Monique says, could you imagine? Speak with you. Lily never mentions her kids either. Barely mentions her kids. You would forget that Lily had kids. Okay, Monique says, could you imagine if Cole turned out to be really Victor's son before he got involved with Victoria? It kind of reminds me when they thought David Vickers was the son of Victor Lord, and he slept with Tina on One Life to Live. And literally they thought brother and sister were together. It was real crazy assaults back there. Okay, Amaya says Neil was going to raise Cole's baby with Victoria because Cole was going to marry Ashley. So he was with Victoria at one point in time. Solomon says Neil and Victoria was together, but the ignorant bigot viewers wouldn't have it, so the writers broke them up. All right, that makes sense. Can you imagine if he had a baby? What if Nate and Victoria had a baby? We need a Winters Newman baby. I mean, technically kind of got that with Abby, but wait, Winters? Well, technically Neil is not a Winters. He's a Barber and a Hastings. It's technically kind of different. All right. Amaya says Cole was a lot older than Victoria. All right. Meek says, DC, please explain to me why Nick is with Sally like her protector. I've never heard him say that he loves her. Yeah. But the thing is, though, Nick is a better match than Adam could ever be, because if Adam is treating the other mother of his children like trash, does Sally really think that like she's in the okay? Because I never understand that when someone's dating somebody and they see that person has kids with somebody else and they're treating that person like trash, and they really think that they're just going to be the recipient of great behavior from that person. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Sure. Yeah. You know, so that's what I see when I see that. But I still feel like Nick is the better buy than Adam, because look how he treats Phyllis and Sharon. It's such respect. Adam doesn't have that for jealousy. All right, Steven says Mason should fry. He's a bastard for what he did to Maxine. I know, Steven, but Mason's still young. Don't you feel like Mason could still redeem himself though? Steven, don't you? I think he could still be redeemed, right? And it was Eric, was it Charity's brother, right? Is that her name, Charity? Charity's brother that was like leading him on to do all that crap. He didn't have the proper guidance. That's how I feel personally. All right. Amaya says Nick can have one Victoria. I think so. That would be soapy. Solomon says Victoria's like 50 now. She's a little too old to be having black babies. Not black babies, really. Much less babies in general. All right. Let me see here. All right. Steven says, I'm happy that Norma and Warren are connected. Warren, that was his name. I almost said Winston. Warren. There we go. Warren. The Todd Manning of Hollyoaks. All right. Eyes Only says, I thought Neil was with Ashley. He was. And then that went nowhere either. They didn't even write well for Neil during his final days. They really didn't. Once Drusilla was off the air, it's like they had no more storyline for Neil at all, which is unfortunate. They literally had no story for him at all, guys. At all. Anyways, guys, listen, guys. I know I'm pulling an Albert Bostic right now, but literally my battery's at 40%. I gotta get the charger. I'm gonna be uploading my GH review. Please want to look out for that if YouTube will allow and is gracious to let me post that thing. Adam is old enough to be Sally's father. Is he? Yeah, he probably is. When he says, is it me or does Sally's personality change when she's around Adam and Nick? It's like she's saying things to appease them. Yeah, she is. Nick does not love her, but Nick is just too respectful to leave. Because some people, you can be in a relationship with them and they'll never leave you, and they think that they're being loyal. but sometimes it could really still be hurting things at the same time, especially if that's not what is meant. Warren is Todd Manning. Norma is totally Dorian Lord. Yes, she does have Dorian Lord written all over her. She just needs her Kramer woman. She just needs a Kramer woman after that. Anyways, guys, that is my live for tonight, guys. I'm gonna be posting my reviews. Please check them out, guys. And I have something with Albert going on next week. I don't know if he's already announced on his channel. If I'm allowed to say, I don't know. All right. Solomon really quickly says, I remember when Victoria came back and played by me and Heinley, and she was trying to hook up with Michael, but he was with Lauren. Where was I when that happened? I didn't know that happened. Where was I? Okay. Anyways, guys, I am out for tonight, guys. That's it. I'm out. I gotta go finish uploading these videos, and I'll be on Hours Live in the comments, so you can interact with me there. And well, I guess the members only live. I guess he has it. So or whatever. You guys members only on there. Anyways, guys, this has been the Soap Sanctuary, guys. I'm out. Meek, Solomon, Eyes Only, Steven, Monique, everybody. If I forgot your name, please don't get mad at me. Kaiwan, Amaya. Thank you for hanging out with me tonight on this live. I really appreciate it, guys. Guys, I am out. Guys, I'm out of here. See ya.